All right, well, peace, peace, peace. First and foremost, man, hopefully the Most High in your house shall bless you all day. By His mercies, you are consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house shall body. The two are naturally alive, man. And, I want to get into this because we kind of broached on this yesterday with the whole Tower of Babel thing. And, I was thinking about this earlier in the week. How honestly, how because honestly, man, I was looking at this in Luke, earlier this week. And, also too, like, shout out to brother Simeon Firstborn, man, because because that's the importance of the gospel and witness and testimony. Pretty much, man, this whole book is about Yahushua and the Most High and Yahushua. The whole book is about the Most High and the Son Christ, man. The whole book. We are supposed to like find the witness that it's all the Most High and Yahushua revealing it to us, honestly, by His mercies, honestly. And like the brother Akka War beautifully said, man, this is always going to stick with me. Read the book through the Most High and Yahushua's perspective, man, because that's just how it is, man. That's the gospel. That's like the testimony, the witness, the new covenant things about. Because how when we do that, we begin to do what Yahushua said in John 7:38, and to believe on Him as the scripture says. So if He comes in the volume of the book, as the whole book is about Him, and and this book and He lives forever, and His words live forever. That means pretty much having trust in the Most High Yahushua forever at all times. And because honestly, and that's why it says in Malachi, I was talking about this with my mom too, like a few days ago, I believe, in Malachi and the Hebrews, Malachi says when the Most High, changes not, and the Most High and Yahushua changes not, it changes not, and also too, Hebrews says the same thing about Yahushua. I was talking about this with a brother the other day. Hey, yeah, that's what I was talking about with one of my brothers, Yeah, Yahushua is same yesterday, today, and forever, man. Because when you do that, when you can trust on somebody that's consistent, that's consistent, it's even on a natural trip, it's easier to trust somebody that's consistent, honestly, man, because that's just is what it is, man. When you're consistent, that means you're reliable, man. That's the difference between the Most High and Yahushua, man, with regular man. Because me personally, I could be mercurial, or my mood can change. Well, some of that I need to work on. Even sometimes there's natural men like that. They might be going through something, things of that nature. They even kill. But even I say that, how much more with the Most High and Yahushua? Because even no matter how mentally strong you are, but more importantly, because it was like righteous people in this word, that sons and daughters of the Most High Yahushua, sons and daughters of God, that had moments of weakness. Even Yahushua himself, so it doesn't matter how, even outside the word, no matter how mentally strong you are, you still going it still have a breaking point, man. That's why you need the faith in the Most High Yahushua, man. Even those that had that faith in the Most High Yahushua, they still had that. But, that's the difference between them and, natural man. But that's how you could honestly trust somebody, man. But so that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important, the gospel and the witness and testimony is, man. But we're going to get into this, man, because, say, for example, right, because I was thinking about this earlier, man, that David being a bloody man, honestly, man, that's let's get this in Chronicles real quick, man. That's even tying into Yahushua, man. But we're gonna go look at it in this aspect too, because it's too that's how we the same. That's how you too on natural tip. We the same people with this book, man. Because just like how it is now, when Yahushua was on earth, on the scene, doing his mission, people was looking for a king like David. Not knowing that the Yahushua was fighting a war, but the war was against sin and death. But see, that was the, because see, the thing is too, and that's why I was watching a class the other day by Assembly Firstborn, and he was going into, it was one of the older ones, but he was going to how, because with people, even me, when I first got into word, even, and now reaching a level of spiritual maturity, you understand, when somebody says you're saved already, man, pretty much saved from the sin and death and the condemnation, man. But a lot of times too, a lot of people in the word, this not just in word, but a lot of people in general, even I had this mindset that we think about this natural captivity and being saved from the nations, man. No, because there was the brother somebody first one said, man, we have issues before, Mount Sinai, before we was established as a nation, but going back to the beginning with Adam, man, that is which is death. That's why it says in 1 Corinthians 15 that's the last enemy, man. So don't get twisted too. Of course, we want to be delivered from these from our enemies, man, which is the Most High House's enemies, which is our enemies. But Yeah, of course, but you know that's the ultimate enemy is sin and death, man. But and you know that's what Yahushua went to war with, man. Let's grab First Chronicles 22 and First Chronicles 22 in verse 8. But the word of the Lord came But the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thou hast shed blood abundantly, and thou hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build a house unto my name, but because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. So see that? A Yahushua, and see the son of David as well. This is talking about because the wars David had. Like, you know, but yeah, you know, Yahushua, the son of David, had war too. That he was a bloody man as well, man, because you know, that blood, like, you know, because through his blood, honestly, and he was warring against sin and death. That's why we had to build his house. That's why the apostles and the prophets and those that came after had to build his house. Let's grab this too. Let's read this again. First Chronicles, 22 verse 8. It says, But the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thou hast shed blood abundantly, hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build a house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. So see that? Let's get First Corinthians real quick. 15. Let's real quick. First Corinthians chapter 2, 15, verse 26. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. So exactly, man. So see, and that's why we see the same thing, man. That's why the Most High, it's all the same word, man. So that, like, you know, now see, the crazy thing is too, Solomon built the house, now built the temple, things in nature of like, you know, the Most High Yahushua, you know. But you know, even Yahushua, like, you know, he was like during the time he came, like, not the whole reincarnation doctrine, but he came as Solomon as for peace. That's why I said in John 14, peace I leave with you. He came as peaceful, not to condemn, not to destroy. But when he comes back, he's coming back as in the role of David, in the role of David, man, waging war on and taking crowns of other nations too. Now that's when the physical war happens, man. But the first war, it's always a spiritual war the whole time. But you know, really, like, you know, the ultimate battle, like, you know, he came to do, which the most important battle was against sin and death, which he did. He was warned. That's why he can't build the house. That's one of the reasons why he can't build the house. And two, he's a king. And plus, it's just like, you know, this is what it is. The king, like, you know, but all the Yahushua did was kind of like he, you know, kind of like his father told him in the beginning. He showed the pattern of what he wanted to, or how he wants his house to be. Just like even in the even with Moses, how, like, you know, how with the whole tabernacle and, like, you know, the whole how the Most High Yahushua told Moses how they want the pattern to be during that time in the wilderness, like, you know, as far as that, you know. So that's just is what it is, man. So let's grab this again, man. First Chronicles 22 verse 8. But the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thou hast shed blood abundantly, hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build a house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in thy sight. Yeah. So see that? So let's get Matthew 16. Matthew 16 verse 18, it says, and I say unto thee, thou art Peter, upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So see that, and see that. Notice how that too, and that goes into that Revelation too, in Isaiah, the key. But you know it, the key of David. But notice how too, honestly, he says the gates of hell not prevent it. It means what? It means death, honestly. And that's what the rock and the church and the house of the Lord's house should be built off the gospel, the witness, the testimony, new covenant, man. Pretty much going into that gospel, which is how it comes in the volume of the book. Have faith in Most High, how shall live according to the promise and obedience to his instruction, and believe on him as the scripture said, because that's really what the gospel is, really how we overcome sin and death, honestly. You know, honestly. So and it's the faith, honestly. And that's because when the preaching of the gospel is for, like Romans says, for the increase of the faith of the people, man. So yeah, but notice how this too, like, you know, we're seeing this, and we've seen this throughout the word too. It's like the same motif, reoccurring theme, man. Like, you know, that movie, TV show, video game, man. It's the same thing, man. Because David couldn't build the house, like, you know, because he was a bloody man. Just like, you know, Yahushua can't, the son of David, man, because he was a bloody man. Because many wars that David fought, the war that ultimate war that Christ fought was getting sin and death. So he can't build the house. Like, no, this going off the word, the consistency and the motif of the word of the scriptures, man. He couldn't build the house. And also too, like Proverbs 14 as well, man. Let's get this too. That's the reason why too. Now the kingdom is already built, man, but we can build the Most High house, man. And also too, that house, that the inward house, too. More importantly, building each other up in the faith, the kingdom that's within, man. That's the ultimate kingdom that's going. We can build honestly the faith because the kingdom is within. But you know, but also too, man. That's what it is. But let's get Proverbs chapter 4:14, verse 1. You know, Jeremiah 6:2 says Israel is like his woman, or like a comely woman. But it says, every wise woman buildeth up her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So see, that's why Sirach says one builds, one destroys, what they have profit but labor, man. But see, let's grab that real quick, man. And let's see that real quick. Yeah, Ecclesiastes also knows Sirach 34 verse 23. When one buildeth and another pulled down, what profit have they but labor? See, exactly, man. So that goes into Amos 3:3. What, like, can two walk unless they be in agreement? Like, you know, I was just even that strip of Michael Strahan we was watching, man, like he was going into on that clip, man, like, you have certain people that's building something and certain people that's just in the house, like, and that's nothing, that's like, what profit is that but labor, honestly. And that's what they're saying. But more importantly, the Most High house, like, that's why certain ones, like he said, the slothful servant, he said that in parable had to go. Like, it is what it is. Like, actually I was talking about this with my coworkers yesterday. They was like, hey, last year, like, the staff that we had, they wouldn't be doing anything. It's like, okay, like, it's like us two, like he was going to, like, only certain one of us that were here, that's still here, we were working, but it's like the other one, they were like, it's like, dang, man, it messes up everybody up when everybody's not holding and their bargain, man, because it's like that don't want to be the weakest link in the chain, man, because like it's that domino effect. Because when one's not doing anything, man, like, everything else is gonna collapse, man. Like even the smallest part, man. So that's just is what it is, man. But this goes into how David, like, and also too, notice how David had two wives, man. So the two kingdoms, man. That's is what it is. That's building the Most High house, man. But that's why David, I mean, how what you call him, how David, like, was a bloody man, and the son of David was a bloody man, and how, like, he can't build the house, even all just pursuant to the scripture, and how he just couldn't build the house, because ultimately Yahushua was warred against. David had many wars, and Yahushua warred against sin and death, and like Romans 5 says, and all throughout the, like, where it says being justified by his blood now. Like, he's a bloody man, not in a bad aspect, but like, no, he just couldn't do it. And also too, he's a master, he's a king, so he's not building that. So this just is what it is, man. So hopefully this is edifying, man. So peace.